Sure, sir. Sure.
I'll quickly put it in the
Meanwhile,
YouTube.
I have kept it. Sir. Sir, my PPT has been shared now.
Yes, sir. Your PPT is shared. Um,
Sir.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Dr. Mahatesh Kuri, sir. So this is our fifth part of our webinar series on corporate finance and accounts. So I welcome all the participants and Mahatesh sir for agreeing to take this sessions. So, sir, over to you. So you can take it forward.
So thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, all the participants. It's a pleasure being here again for the third week consecutively. This is the fifth session, fifth series on corporate accounts and finance. And in today's session, I'm going to discuss on the analysis and interpretation of financial statements, part 2. As we know, in the previous discussion, we had contents like the ratio analysis, understanding the financial performance based on various parameters like liquidity, solvency, profitability, market performance, efficiency, coverage, kind of a thing. So all these tools that we call the tools of the management accounting um, are pertaining to the analysis of the financial performance of a company. When we say analysis of the financial performance of a company, the financial performance of a company is going to be seen from different angles. That is what we have seen. The performance is not only the profitability. Profitability is one aspect of the financial performance, and hence profit itself is not everything for the organization. Definitely profit is important, but in addition to profitability, there are so many other aspects also that one needs to look at when we talk of the financial performance of the company. So with this respect, we discussed on various types of ratios in the previous class. So now we move on to the other ways of looking at the financial analysis, financial statement analysis of an organization. And other than ratios, there are some tools that we are going to discuss today. So let's begin with today's discussion. The contents of the financial analysis as a whole goes like this: ratio, trend analysis, interfirm analysis, industry analysis, horizontal analysis, vertical or common size statement analysis, funds flow analysis, and cash flow analysis. There are many more other tools to use. Actually, there is a budget and budgetary control analysis, there is variance analysis, there is EVA, and so many other tools are there. I have taken the prominent ones as tools to analyze the financial statements of an organization. And from these contents, ratio analysis has already been covered in the previous discussion. So I am going to start with trend analysis from today. Okay, let's start with the trend analysis. Trend, as the name itself says, trend signifies a particular pattern. Now we keep saying the trend is towards going for unconventional financial instruments in the market, kind of a thing. So trend is a pattern. Trend is something that normally follows. Trend is like a time series. Analyzing the financial statements of an organization, or while analyzing with the help of this trend, like you study time series analysis, like you study the performance analysis in an organization. So what we do here in trend analysis, the comparison of the financial performance is done over a period of time. Now, this year the profitability is seen. This year's profitability is good, is not going to be enough. Now, is it good in comparison with the last year? Is it good in comparison with last few years? Is what is going to be the way of looking at the performance of an organization. So it is basically comparison of the financial performance over a period of time. Just to say, I will compare my performance of today with my performance of last quarter. Performance of today is compared with the performance of the last 1 year. Performance of this year is being compared with the performance of last year. Performance of this year is being compared with, say, a couple of years ago. Performance of this year is going to be compared with the performance since inception. So that's what we mean by trend analysis. Over a period of time, how the performance of a company has improved or worsened is what is going to be seen here in the trend analysis. Point number two helps to see whether the performance is increasing or decreasing, whether the performance is improving or worsening year after year, period after period, month after month, like that we are going to see here. We can see whether the organization is moving on the track or off the track, right? This is what we want to see. Profit is enough, solvency is enough, liquidity is satisfactory. This is what from different angles we are going to look at. Just to show one example of trend analysis. Now, what kind of analysis can be done here? Now, as a finance manager, as a management accountant in an organization, just looking at the profit and the size of the profit for 1 year is not going to be enough. So you need to have a bent of analytical mind. So analytical bent of mind should intervene and intertwine the intricacies of the profitability, not just looking at profit as a single figure. So let me show you this example of how an analysis of profitability can be done. Now, this analysis of profitability example is one such example of looking at profits from the analysis point of view. Now, trend analysis ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ it is not only about the profits. Now, trend analysis has to be done for each and every financial variable in the organization. And when I say each and every financial variable in the organization, that starts from right from the sales. Sales in the head though, the what we call in the finance language is the top line. Top line means the sales, and the bottom line means the net profit after taxes. So trend analysis ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು right from the sales in the ತಗೊಂಡು up to bottom line, that is the net profit after taxes ವರೆಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So let us understand, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, the analytical bent of mind one needs to develop if you want to get into this profession or a career of financial analysis. Now, what kind of analysis can be done taking just a profitability ಅಂತ ಒಂದು financial variable ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವ ತರ ನಾವು ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ let us look at this. I don't know whether this Word document is shared, sir, now or not shared. I think I need to share it again. Let me share. Sir, is a Word document shared now?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is shared now.
Yeah. So participants, just have a look at this. I have taken profit. Now, when we talk in finance language, profit can be a positive profit or a negative profit. Now, loss anna negative profit anta kuda ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So profitability ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ it includes positive profits as well as a negative profits. In other words, profitability includes the profits or the losses. ಎರಡು ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ. Analysis of profit or losses ಅಥವಾ profitability has to be done on the following lines. Now, let's look at this. Now, profit ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, suppose there is a profit. Now, analysis ಯಾವ ತರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, look at the first point, whether the profits are increasing at increasing rate or the profits are increasing at the decreasing rate, or the profits are decreasing at the increasing rate, or the profits are decreasing at the decreasing rate. So this is how we need to look at the profits. Loss ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ, again same, losses are increasing at increasing rate, or the losses are increasing at decreasing rate, or losses are decreasing at increasing rate, or losses are decreasing at decreasing rate. ನಾವು ಈ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದ್ ವೇಳೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸ್ಟ್ you need to look into all these 4 bullet points if there is a profitability in the company. Now, profits are increasing at increasing rate andre, now ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಗೂ ಈ ವರ್ಷದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಗೂ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಈ ವರ್ಷನೂ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 2 ವರ್ಷವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್, ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ 2 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಫಿಗರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ 10% ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ 12% ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, now we can say profits are increasing at an increasing rate ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Is it a good sign or a bad sign for the company? This is a very good sign for the company. Yes. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ now profits are increasing at a decreasing rate. So last year profits increased by 10%. This year again, compared to last year, the profits have increased, but the profits have increased at 8%. Increased, but increased at a decreasing rate. Now, this kind of a performance is not expected. Profits are increasing. There is a profit, no doubt. Not just a profit, the profit is more than the last year's profit. But the point of concern for you as a financial analyst should be whether the increase in profit is at increasing rate or increase in profit is at a decreasing rate. If it is, the profits are increasing at a decreasing rate, andre profits have increased in the last year at the rate of 10%, but this year the profits have increased at the rate of 8%, andre now the performance of the company in terms of profitability is not satisfactory ಅಂತಾನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. In case, the third point, profits are decreasing. Now first ಆ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಈ ಕಳೆದ 4-5 ವರ್ಷ ನಾವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ profits are decreasing. Okay, due to various reasons, due to maybe competition is high, the demand for the products is low, purchasing power of the people has come down, the supply has increased, number of market players has increased due to various reasons, or there is a common recession in the market, COVID-19 impact ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು. Due to various reasons, the profits are decreasing over a period of time. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಈ ಮಂತ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ಗೂ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಈ ಕ್ವಾರ್ಟರ್ ಇಂದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಾರ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಈ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ಗೂ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಕಳೆದ ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್. ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಅಬೌಟ್. ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಈ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಲುಕ್ ಅಟ್ whether the profits are increasing or decreasing. If the profits are decreasing, it is expected. Profits are decreasing is expected because of prevailing economic conditions in the country. All right, like COVID-19 irbodu. So profits are decreasing, but at an increasing rate. Decreasing at an increasing rate is a real matter of concern for us. Last year, profits decreased by, say, 7%. Profits were decreasing last year also. 2 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ? 7% ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ have decreased by 9%. Profits are decreasing at an increasing rate. This is not a good thing for the organization. So this is profits are decreasing at increasing rate. The next one is last year profits decreased by 7%. Profits are decreasing at a decreasing rate. ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು at the rate of 7%. ಈ ವರ್ಷನೂ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ the decrease rate in the profitability is 5%. So profits are decreasing at a decreasing rate. So it is definitely an improvement in the financial performance of the company in terms of profitability ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. So profits decreasing at decreasing rate is a good sign for the organization ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. I hope you are comfortable with this kind of an analysis when it comes to profits. If there is a loss, not necessarily every business will have profits, so a business may be having the losses also. ಅವಾಗ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೋಡ್ಲಾರ್ದೆ ಬರೀ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು really analyze and interpret using a tool called trend analysis, profits or the losses, in other words the profitability of the company. Now the first case ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, losses are increasing at an increasing rate. This is a very bad performance of the company. ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ losses are increasing. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ನಮ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು, ಸೇ ಒಂದು 6% ಇತ್ತಂತ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಲಾಸಸ್ have increased at 6% in the last year. ಆದರೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ, 8% ಆಗಿದೆ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಲಾಸಸ್ were increased at 6%, but this year losses have increased at 8%. Negative profit. The losses are increasing at an increasing rate is definitely a bad sign for the company. It's not a good thing. Next one, the losses are increasing at decreasing rate. Last year losses increased by 6%, but this year the losses have increased but at a decreasing rate. This is definitely good for the organization ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್. ಕಳೆದ ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ದ ರೇಟ್ ಅಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ದ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಡೌನ್. ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ 6% ಇತ್ತು, ಅದ್ರ ಹಿಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ 8% ಇತ್ತು, ಈ ವರ್ಷ 4% ಆಗಿದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ 2% ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ 0 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ನೋ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದರ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ 2% ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷ 4% ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. This is what is the anticipation. This is what is we mean by the trend analysis. Okay, so losses are increasing at decreasing rate, and now it is a good performance of the company anta helbodu. Losses are decreasing at increasing rate. Now last year losses were decreased. Decrease in loss is a good performance. First of all, it's a good thing for the organization. Losses are decreasing ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಲಾಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Decreasing the loss is a good sign, but losses are decreasing at increasing rate. Increasing rate, ಈ ವರ್ಷ decrease in the loss has increased to 7%. This is a very good sign ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ you are moving from loss making scenario into a profit making scenario very shortly. So losses decreasing at an increasing rate. Last year losses 5% ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಲಾಸಸ್ 7% ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಕವರಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ರೋಗ ಬಂದು ಗುಣಮುಖರಾಗೋ ರೇಟ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಈಗ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ರಿಕವರಿ, sign of recovery from loss making performance scenario to profit making performance scenario. It is very good for the organization anta helbodu. Similarly, the last one nodaga losses are decreasing at a decreasing rate. 5% kadime agittu last year, losses are decreasing, but this year losses have decreased by only 2%. This is not a good performance by you. Losses are decreasing is a good sign, but the rate of decrease in the loss is coming down. 5% level ಅಲ್ಲಿ losses ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದ್ರೆ very shortly you would convert a loss making performance company into a profit making performance company. ಆದ್ರೆ rate of decreasing in losses ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಕವರಿ ಆಗೋ ಇದೇನಿದೆ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ಸ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಲೋ ರಿಕವರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಸೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿ ಡೂ ಇನ್ ದ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಬರೀ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. I have taken only profitability example in this. ಅದೇ ತರ ನೀವು ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ at increasing rate, sales are increasing at decreasing rate, sales are decreasing at increasing rate, sales are decreasing at decreasing rate. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದೊಂದನ್ನೇ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗಿ. ಅದೇನ ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಕಮಿಷನ್, ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್, ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಮುಂಚೆ, ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಥರೋ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಟೂಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ನಾನು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನ ತೋರಿಸಿದೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಲಿ, I have shown the comparison of only 2 years. ಒಂದು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಅನ್ನ 2 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ all financial variables and it can be done for multiple periods. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Now over to the participants. If there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take those questions on trend analysis, and then we'll move on to the next tool in financial analysis.
Yes, guys, you can type your questions if anybody has. Yes. So even after the sessions also, like once when you are reviewing, when you are checking, if you have get any doubt, you can also at that time also you can ask the questions. I'll pass on the questions to sir, and we can get the answer. So I think you can proceed.
Sure. Just as an analogy, normally I keep telling my students so that they understand this easily. Trend analysis ಮಾಡುವಾಗ normally you compare your performance, your current performance with your own past performance. That is trend analysis. ಈಗ MBA ಮಾಡಕ್ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಡುಗರು ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅನಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಯು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್. MBA ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಮೆಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿರೋರು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಫೈನಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯುವರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್, ನಾವೀಗ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಆ ತರ, ಯುವರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್, ಯುವರ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ percentage of marks in the degree graduation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ that's your current performance. Suppose you scored some 72% in the graduation, adanna that is compared with your own previous performance. For example, your degree performance is compared with your own PUC performance, your degree performance is compared with your own SSLC performance anta madidre. So how much you scored in degree? You scored 72%. How much was your score in PUC? You had scored 70%. How much did you score in your SSLC? You had scored about 66%. So from SSLC to PUC, from PUC to graduation, from graduation to post graduation, like this, if you compare your own present performance with your own past performances, that is called trend analysis. I hope this concept is clear with the participants. As sir rightly said, in case there are any questions at the end of the session also, you can ask those questions. Let me share the PPT once again. Okay, that was about trend analysis. Now the next tool for analysis is okay, one more example is given here. ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದಿ ROI ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಸೆಷನ್. ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟೆಡ್ by a formula called net profit after taxes divided by total investments. So we get return on investment. 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಾನು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ROI measure ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. So return on investment is compared for same company X for over 4 financial years. Now 2020, 2019, 2018 and 2017 ನಾಲ್ಕು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ROI ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಏನಾಗಿದೆ? 2017 it was 10%, 18 it increased to 12%, 19 it is increased to 16%, 2020 it is increased to 18%. The profitability athwa ROI has been increasing over a period of 4 years ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಫರ್ದರ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ನಾವು ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾನು ವರ್ಡ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ 1718 to 1819 the ROI has increased at an increasing rate ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ROI ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. 10 to 12% ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, 12 to 16% ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. 10 to 12% ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ the change in ROI is 20%. 12 to 16% ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ the change in ROI is 25%. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ new ROI minus old ROI divided by old ROI into 100 ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ percentage change in ROI ಬರುತ್ತೆ. That is a next level of analysis as far as the trend analysis is concerned. But simple ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ trend analysis is the comparison of the current years or current periods financial performance of an organization with its own previous years previous periods performance. 2020 performance ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು 1918 17 ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಗೇನ್ ROI is taken as an example. You can take any financial variable, sales ತಗೋಬಹುದು, net profits ತಗೋಬಹುದು, assets ತಗೋಬಹುದು, share capital ತಗೋಬಹುದು, reserves and surplus, any financial variable that is part of your P&L account and balance sheet can be used for making the trend analysis. Hope this concept is clear to you. Let me move on to the next one. The next one is the interfirm analysis ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Now, what we do in interfirm analysis is trend analysis ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಈಗ. The next level is interfirm analysis. Here, they compare your own performance with the performance of the close competitors ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. It helps to keep the pace in line with the competitors in the industry. Example ಕೊಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, the performance of ICICI Bank can be compared with State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, and Axis Bank. Now, why ICICI performance has to be compared with SBI, HDFC, and Axis Bank is because ICICI is a banking organization, and the other three organizations that are being compared here are also banking institutions, and all these four organizations are in the same industry, are in the same sector. That we mean by the fair comparison. ನಾನು ICICI ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ITC ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಯೂನಿಲಿವರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಲೈಫ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಫೇರ್ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಂಟರ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಮಂಗ್ ದ organizations that we take for the comparison. That is what we mean by interfirm analysis. Interfirm analysis ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ it helps to keep the pace in line with the competitors in the industry. Ours is an open economy. So the open economy means the competition is open. There's a stiff competition in the industry. ನಾನು ನನ್ನಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನನ್ನಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. I believe in my principles. I don't look at what others do ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. You know how banking ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, how banking was done earlier some 20 years ago and how banking is done today. Now, I remember when I was doing my PUC, I was standing in a queue in front of State Bank of India to open an SB account at my place called Bailongal. So when I came near to the person serving the customers, he asked me, what do you want? I said, I want to open an SB account. You know what was the answer from State Bank of India executive? Sorry to say this, at that point of time, he said, why only SBI? There are other two nationalized banks nearby. There is Union Bank of India and Syndicate Bank. Why are you coming here? Go to other bank. That was the response from the banking official. And today, if you see, the banking scenario is totally changed. Not only the private sector banks, even the public sector banks, to sustain, to stay in the market, to stay in the competition, they are running behind the customers today. So competition is acute in the market in all the industries today. In order to keep the pace with other competitors in the market, we need to compare our own performance with the other competitors in the market. In that direction, ಇಂಟರ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಗ್ರಾಜುಯೇಷನ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ PU ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು SSLC ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಅದೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, extending the same example of your performance in the examinations at different levels, now you compare your degree performance with your classmates performances. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that becomes inter-firm analysis, because you are in the same peer group. You are in the same peer group, like ICICI, Axis, HDFC, SBI and Punjab National Banks are the peer groups. Similarly, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಇಂಟರ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ಗೆ ಅನಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಅದೇ ತರ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ XYZ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು 3 ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕಾಮನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಕಾಮನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. IT ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಟಾಟಾ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್, TCS, ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್, ವಿಪ್ರೋ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. TCS, ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್, ವಿಪ್ರೋ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು FMCG ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಹಿಂದೂಸ್ತಾನ್ ಯೂನಿಲಿವರ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್, ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗ್ಯಾಂಬಲ್, ITC ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ITC falls into FMCG as well as conglomerate industry, so that can be taken as a comparison. XYZ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು TCS, Infosys, Wipro ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, so again analysis of ROI ನಾನು ಮುಂಚೆ ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ need not be only ROI, it can be any financial variable. As an example, I am using ROI here. Now analysis of ROI ಮಾಡುವಾಗ you are not just looking at your performance. If you are assumed to be company X in this example. Now your performance is like 10% in 2017 ROI. It is increased to 12% in 18, 16% in 19, and now in the year 2020 your ROI has increased to 18%. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಡ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟರ್ ಜೊತೆ ನೀವು X ನೀವು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ Y ಮತ್ತೆ Z ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೆಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಪನಿ Y ಅಂಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿ Z ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ROI ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದೇ ನೀವು ಕಂಪನಿ Z ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅದರ್ 2 ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ X ಅಂಡ್ Y ಜೊತೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ in terms of return on investment in the last 4 years interfirm analysis ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, if your company Z, your performance trend analysis ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. 10, 11, 12, 14 ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯುವರ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ individually, but your performance increase in comparison with your close competitors is not satisfactory, is not good anta helbodu. So this kind of an analysis is extremely important in a highly competitive business environment like what we have today. So idanna ನಾವು interfirm analysis anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. If there are any doubts, any questions in this interfirm analysis, let me take those questions and then I'll move forward. Some 1 minute for the participants to raise any questions.
Sir, I don't know whether it is relevant or not, but I have a question. So if we compare these 3 organizations' performance over the period of 4 years, which one we will say that like they are gradually they are doing better? Like say one I am seeing like company X, they have suddenly jumped, like say for example from 12% to 16%, but then the next year it is instead of some 16 to 20 it should have gone, it has come to 18, whereas one organization it is going step by step instead of suddenly moving up and coming down like that. So yeah, I have a doubt on that, like which one we feel that like out of which is the better performer.
Yeah, definitely a company which has a steady increase in the profitability or ROI is preferred. Steady increase, say 10, 11, 12, 14 or 10, 12, 15, 16. There's a steady increase in the increase. So for that we go to the next level, the rate of increase in the ROI, like I showed in the Word document. Now these are the different angles to look at increase in the performance or decrease in the performance. Definitely the one which has a steady growth rate is desirable, but on a whole, for an investment of, so now there are different types of investors in the market that we need to understand. Now one who has been investing, a long-term investor right from 2017, for him probably X Excess performance between 2019 and 20 is not very encouraging because the rate of increase in ROI is not that impressive for him. But for an investor who has invested in 2020, he will compare the rate of ROI among three companies XYZ. For him, X would be highly impressive for him. Like this, we need to look from different perspectives, different types of investors also we need to look at. Definitely steady growth is desirable, but for the short term investors, X would also be preferable for them.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So any other questions from the participants, or we move on to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
If
We
there are
can
any
move on.
questions, can be typed on the chat box. I think we can move on, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can move on.
Okay. The next level of analytical tool that we call is a industry analysis. Industry, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಮನ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ರೆಫರ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್, ರೈಟ್? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಹಿಂದಿನ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ICICI Bank, State Bank of India, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, all these are the companies, and banking is an industry. Hindustan Unilever, Procter and Gamble, Colgate Palmolive, Dabur India, all these are the companies, and FMCG, that is fast moving consumer goods, is called an industry. Similarly, TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, Wipro, HCL Technologies, Cognizant, Tech Mahindra, all these are the companies, and IT, that is information technology, is the industry. So I hope nobody has a doubt as to what is an industry. So industry analysis andre, it's kind of sector analysis idange. Now idರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, bullet point number 1, checking your performance, your company's performance with the industry standards. Like I said, ನೀವು TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL performance ಅನ್ನ not only among the companies, among the peer groups, rather you are going to compare your performance with the industry benchmarks. IT industry benchmark ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬೆಂಚ್ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ಇಫ್ ದ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಲೈನ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ಲೋ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಅಸ್. ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, performance of Infosys can be compared with IT industry standards. Similarly, HUL, that is Hindustan Unilever, can be compared with FMCG industry standards, fast moving consumer goods industry ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Now the question arises that, question ಏನಪ್ಪ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, how do I get to know what is the IT industry standard ಅಂತ? Every sector has some benchmarks. Like if you take an example of IT industry, there is an organization called NASSCOM. ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, NASSCOM ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. Now NASSCOM will come out with the trends, patterns, growth rates, prospects for all the IT companies or IT sector in India, and they will also come with the expected growth rate ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So that can be taken as benchmark rate for the industry. Similarly, ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ICICI, SBI, HDFC, Axis Bank, ಕೆನರಾ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳದ್ದು ನಾವು ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ? IBA ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ದೇ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ industry as such in India. So they give how the loans have increased or decreased over a period of time, how the deposits have been increasing, what is a trend, what is a pattern of all the banking statistics ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ IBA ನವರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. They will also give us the benchmarks for the deposits, loans and various other financial variables like ROI ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ NPA percentage ಇರ್ಬೋದು. All this is given by an institute called IBA. So ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೆಂಚ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಿ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. So that is industry analysis. Now as a comparison ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ XYZ ಸೇಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದ್ಸಲ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ROI ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 15% ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇಯರ್ ಟು ಇಯರ್. 2020 ನಲ್ಲಿ ROI industry benchmark or industry standard is 15% for some industry for this year. Now this benchmark rate for 2019 could be different. So 19, 18, 17 figures are not very relevant to us. Just to see the trend and the industry analysis, I have kept all that together. New e table nalli, e statistics alli you can do trend analysis, industry analysis and interfirm analysis. ಮೂರನ್ನು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ನೀವು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 2020 ಫಿಗರ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಾಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ROI ಅಂತ ಏನು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 15% ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ 15% is a industry standard ROI, return on investment as per the benchmark of the ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ 15% ಇದೆ. ಆವಾಗ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ XYZ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ X has ROI of 18%, that is above the industry benchmark. So X has overperformed the industry ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Company Y has 16%. Again, company Y has overperformed the industry benchmark. Company Z has underperformed compared to the industry standard ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Company Z's performance, although trend analysis is quite impressive, the industry analysis ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ company Z is increasing its return on investment over a period of time. Trend analysis is very satisfactory for company Z, but industry analysis ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ company Z is not in line with the industry benchmark as far as ROI is concerned ಅಂತ ನಾವು conclude ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So this is how industry analysis helps us to see whether we are keeping the pace in line with the industry sector, market as a whole or not ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅನಾಲಜಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಾನು ಮುಂಚೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರದೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ PUC ಮತ್ತೆ SSLC ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಮದೇ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ, ದಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅ ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಇಂಟರ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ಸ್, ಒಂದು 20-30 ಜನ ಏನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಂಟರ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಈಗ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಾಲೇಜ್, BCom, BBA, BSc, BA ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಾಲೇಜ್, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅವರೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಧಾರವಾಡಲ್ಲಿ, ಮ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ರಾಣಿ ಚೆನ್ನಮ್ಮ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಮೈಸೂರು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ನೀವು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಯಾವ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಫಿಲಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಡಿಗ್ರಿಯನ್ನ, ಆ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, BComಗೆ ಆವರೇಜ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜು, BBAಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, BAಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೆಂಚ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಹೀಗೆ ಸೊ 3 variants of analysis are taken up here. Trend analysis is comparing your current performance with your own past performances. Interfirm analysis, you compare your own current performance with your close competitors' performances with the same financial variables. Industry analysis, you compare your own current year's performance, current period's performance with the industry standards, so the industry benchmarks which are established by the some apex bodies like NBA or IBA or like NASCOM. This is what we mean by industry analysis. ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೂರು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನಮಗೆ. We need trend analysis, we need interfirm analysis, we need industry analysis. ಮೂರು ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. All these help us look at the financial performance of a company from different angles. Look at the financial performance from different perspectives, and all the perspectives are important for us. So this is what is industry analysis for you. Over to participants if there are any questions quickly.
Yes, sir. You can proceed. These things, I think, it takes some time to grasp and come out with some questions. So yeah, but definitely these are all things. Uh, uh, Particularly, all commerce graduates should be aware of it, and they should know all these things.
Because the terms, the terminologies that are being used here in the presentation are quite familiar for the students who come from BCom background or a BBA background. Probably for the students from other backgrounds, BA or BSc, BCA or engineering or diploma background, it could be little difficult for them to understand because they may not be so familiar with the terminologies there. So for them, it may take a little time. So moving on with this, next one is horizontal analysis. Here we have, this is kind of trend analysis, but then there's not exactly a trend analysis. Horizontal analysis is also known as a what do you call, comparative financial statement analysis ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. This analyzes the P&L and the balance sheet of an organization over a number of years to see the trend. ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಯರ್ ಆನ್ ಇಯರ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ, ಸಾರಿ, ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವೆದರ್ ದ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಟಿರಿಯೋರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ನೆಟ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ITC, the actual figures taken for ITC from 2013 to 2019 ನಾವು ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, net sales and net profits are being compared here. 2009 is right to left ಬರೋಣ. 2019 ಅಲ್ಲಿ these are rupees in crores. 14,986 were the net sales, were increased to 18,567. Now next column ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತಗೋತೀವಿ, normally when we do that horizontal analysis ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, what is a percentage change ತಗೋತೀವಿ. So percentage change ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ 2010 figures minus 2009 figures upon 2009 figures into 100, right? Current year's sales minus previous year sales upon previous year sales into 100. So 18,567 minus 14,987 divided by 14,986 into 100 ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇನ್ ನೆಟ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗೆ, ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ನಾವು 14 ಇಂದ 18,000 ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, 21,000 ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, 25,000 ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, 29,000 ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ನಾವು ನಾಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್. ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದು ಓವರ್ ಅ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಟ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೋಲ್ಸೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ, ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ, ಫಾರ್ ದ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಓವರ್ ಅ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಹಾರಿಜಾಂಟಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್, one point. Vertical analysis is, it's a mechanism to break the complexity of numerical figures in the head, making understanding of the financial statements easily used in the presentation of financial statements to shareholders or board of directors, or the government officials, or the investors, or various stakeholders like creditors irbodu, bankers irbodu, avella ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So let us understand what this vertical analysis is actually anta. Vertical analysis andre, think of the large organizations like Infosys, State Bank of India, Tata Motors, ITC, ICICI Bank, Reliance Industries Limited. So large organizations anna nododadre, the balance sheet size is huge. The numbers in the balance sheet, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿಗ್ ಇನ್ ಸೈಜ್. ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ will run into multiple zeros. There was a announcement made by our honorable Prime Minister that COVID-19 combat ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 20 lakh crores ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಮೊನ್ನೆ. ಪೀಪಲ್ ವರ್ ಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್ ಓವರ್ ದ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ, ವಾಟ್ಸ್ಆಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, ಐ ಆಮ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ವರಿಡ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಜೀರೋಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ 20 lakh crores ಅಂತ. And so that's the complexity of understanding the numbers. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Now, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, a million means 10 lakhs, 1 billion means 100 crores, and 1 trillion means 1000 billions. 1000 billions. I repeat, 1 million is 10 lakhs, 1 billion is 100 crores, 1 trillion is 1000 billions. Now, the Honorable Prime Minister also said this 20 lakh crore rupees is about 10% of India's GDP. Many countries in the world, US, China, UK, Italy, they all announced their share of funding to combat with this pandemic coronavirus, COVID-19, to the tune of 4%, 5%, 6%, 8%. But India has announced 20 lakh crores, that is 10% of India's GDP ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. Now, how much is India's GDP ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. India's GDP is 10 times of 20 lakh crores. That's about roughly 2 trillion US dollars ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Roughly 2 trillion US dollars is the size of India's economy. And how big is China? How big is UK? How big is US ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, in terms of GDP in absolute terms, GDP is sometimes perceived in a wrong way, that 8%, 6%, 5%, that is not GDP in absolute terms, that is GDP growth rate. GDP in absolute terms ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, India has a GDP of around 2 trillion US dollars. UK has around 5 trillion US dollars. Japan has around 8 to 9 trillion US dollars. China 10 to 11 trillion US dollars. And US, surprisingly, interestingly, has about 20 to 22 trillion US dollars. So that was before COVID-19. Now all these numbers have changed, reduced rather. Now, if you compare Indian economy in terms of GDP with the US economy in terms of GDP, ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, India is about 1/10 of US economy in terms of GDP, or US is 10 times bigger compared to Indian economy in terms of GDP ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಚೈನಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಪನೀಸ್ ಎಕಾನಮಿನ ನೀವು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, US is double the size of Chinese economy in terms of GDP ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. These are all the rough numbers. ಯಾಕೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? How this GDP, Chinese, US, UK economy, GDPs are concerned with vertical analysis ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ, these are all the complex numbers. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ 20 lakh crores ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜೀರೋ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು NC ನೋಡೋ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಾಗ, ಸೊ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕ್ವೈಟ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೀವು ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ದ ನಂಬರ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ presented in the P&L account, the numbers that are presented in the income statement and the financial statement in the form of balance sheet, you consider ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, these numbers, some of these numbers are definitely complex in nature. Now, vertical analysis comes as a tool to use in the presentations ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಥರ್ಡ್ ಬುಲೆಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ finance manager of a company, you are acting as a CFO of an enterprise, or as an investor you want to understand the various intricacies of financial statements. If I look at the financial statements of a company as a layman, I may not understand a lot of things. As sir was saying, industry analysis, interfirm trend analysis nodovaga, a person coming from a non-commerce or a non-accounts or finance background, it may sound a little tricky, it may sound a little difficult in the initial stage. It is not that difficult to understand, but it will take a little time to understand those intricacies of the financial variables. So hagene, if I'm an investor, I'm a layman, I'm a common man, I do not have any background of accounts or finance. So I want to invest into a company, and I want to invest only after having understood the financial position, financial performance of the company. For that, I need to read the financial statements thoroughly. I will read the financial statements, but how do I understand various technicalities of the financial statements is my big question mark. So when I go to some website of a company, Infosys or Reliance or HDFC, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ, ಆಸ್ ಅ ಲೇಮ್ಯಾನ್, ವೆನ್ ಐ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, schedules to profit and loss account, schedules to balance sheet, it will be terrible for me. It will be horrifying for me as a layman, because the numbers are so big, the items are so confusing. I may not understand lot of things from the financial statements, and if I don't understand all of these, how will I make an investment? If I want to make an investment, I need to understand these numbers, I need to understand these figures. So if these are complex, then how do I break this complexity of the numbers? That is what is vertical analysis all about. Sorry, I have taken a little longer time to give a prelude for this vertical analysis that is required, because that is the importance of vertical analysis. Now, what we do in vertical analysis, I'll come to that point now. Let me show you one simple balance sheet of a company. Sir, for a minute, I'll close this sharing of the PPT. I'll go to some other document. Kindly bear with me for a minute. I'm using another document. So just 1 minute, I am importing some other document to show it to the participants here.
Sure, sir. Sure, sure.
Yeah, I'm working offline and I'm getting that document here for the participants. Just 1 minute. Kindly
Sure.
bear with me.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, I'm so sorry for keeping you on a wait. I had to make a small adjustment in that Excel sheet. Hope this Excel sheet is shared with all the participants now.
Yes, sir. It is displaying.
Yeah, it is displayed now. So we are discussing this common size statement analysis, or the vertical analysis is what we say. Now, if you look at these figures, these are rupees in crores for a company called Ranbaxy. Ranbaxy is a pharmaceutical company in India. So from 2008 to 2012 for a period of 5 years. The balance sheet figures are given here. This is the balance sheet of Ranbaxy Laboratories. Now, these are rupees in crores. Now, there's a total share capital, equity share capital, then share application money, reserves is 1,709.51 crores, net worth is given, secured loan is equal to 944.18 crores, unsecured loans are 3,819.43 crores. Total liability happens to be for the year December 2012, 6,685.69 crores. 2008 ali, these numbers we can find here. Now for a moment, if I stop sharing this document, if I ask the participants, how much is the net worth, how much is the reserves and surplus of this company? Can anybody remember, recall? It is not that easy to remember or recall how much is the total share capital or equity capital or net worth or reserves. So what we do in the 2008 and nano base anta tagotini, I'll just show you what is done exactly in this vertical analysis andre. I'll just show you equals to total share capital divided by total liabilities into 100. We get 2.82. 2.82. Similarly, if I take reserves is equal to total reserves upon total liabilities into 100. So we get 44.76. If I take say secured loans equals to amount of secured loans upon total liabilities into 100, we get 2.18 approximately. Total debt equals to this total debt upon total liabilities into 100, that comes to about 50.06%, and this will be equal to 100%. Adhe barattappa andre equals to total liabilities upon total liabilities into 100 will be equal to 100. Now, I hope the participants have seen the kind of calculations that I have done in the Excel sheet. Now, 7,442.14 crores is the total liability of the company. Now, total debt is 3,725.37 crores. Like this, there are different numbers. Now, how do I remember these numbers? How do I remember these numbers? So for that reason, what I do is I convert the total liabilities into 100. I treat total liability is equal to 100, and rest of the variables in the balance sheet, I convert them into percentage. Now, comfortably, I can say you can remember only total liabilities. Total liabilities is about 7,500 crores. Roughly, you can say around 7.5 crores of rupees is the total liability, and total share capital is 3%, reserves is about 45%, secured loans are about 2%, total debt is about 50%. So out of the total liabilities, the borrowed capital is about 50%, and remaining 50% capital has come in the form of owner's capital. So debt equity ratio, now solvency ratios noduvaga almost it is 1:1 anta helbodu. So now what we have done by doing this is we have broken the complexity of these numbers in the balance sheet, and we have made it very simple to understand. Equity share capital ಅನ್ನೇ ನೆನ್ಪಿಡೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ. ಈಗ it is 3% of the total liabilities. Total liabilities ಮಾತ್ರ ನೆನ್ಪಿಡಿ. The total liabilities is about 7,500 ಅಥವಾ 7.5 crores. 7,500 crores is the total liability, of which 50% is a total debt, 45% is a reserve, 3% is a total share capital. Of this, 2% is secured loan and some percent is unsecured loan. ಹೀಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಗೆ ನೀವು see what percentage it comprises of in the total liabilities. So ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು liability side ಮಾಡಿದಂಗೆ we do this for the asset side also, wherein the total assets in the balance sheet are going to be taken as equal to 100%. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 100% ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ every item we can equate to the respective percentages. So this is what we do in the vertical analysis. Similarly, we can go to the profit and loss account also. This is profit and loss account of Ranback C for a period of 5 years from 2008 to 2012. Illi, what can be taken as 100 is normally we take sales revenue as 100%. Sales is taken as 100%, and rest of the things like other income yesterday, excise duty yesterday, raw material percent today, each of them can be converted into a percentage ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ it becomes easy for us to remember this vertical analysis is used while making the financial presentations to various stakeholders like shareholders, like creditors, debenture holders, bond holders, board of directors. ಅವರು presentation ಮಾಡುವಾಗ vertical analysis ನಿಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೇಗಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ your purpose of making the presentation is to convince the people about the financial performance, but not to confuse the audience with complex numbers. ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ನಂಬರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹೇಳಿ 9390 year 2010 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ nobody will remember, nobody will understand that. Rather, if you say the total liabilities of the company for the financial year 2008 is about 7,500 crores, of which 50% comes from the total debt and 45% comes from the reserves and surplus, and another 5% comes from equity and other liabilities for the company. And there are only 3-4 components. 50% is total debt, 45% is reserves, remaining 5% comes from equity share capital and other liabilities. So 100% of total liabilities equal to 7,500 crores. ಇದನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಡೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಜನರಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಕನ್ವೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, it is much easier than actually showing the same balance sheet with the complex numbers. Same thing is applied on the asset side of the balance sheet. Same thing is applied on the income statement or the profit and loss account also. I hope this concept of vertical analysis is clear, and why vertical analysis, common size statement anta heltivi. Now this balance sheet, the whole balance sheet is converted into a common size balance sheet anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Common size financial statement ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So you converted whole balance sheet into a common size balance. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಲೈವ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸೋಣ ಅಂತ I have taken this example of Ranback C Limited. Any questions on this from the participants? Kindly raise the questions if you have any. If you have anything to contribute, if you want to say, if you want to add something to my explanation, feel free. You're most welcome to add, because there could be a lot of other perspectives. There could be a lot of other ways of looking at the same analysis. Kindly share your own experiences in terms of learning tools of financial analysis if you have any.
So you can continue.
Fine, sir. So I presume this interfirm analysis is fine with the participants. Then let me go back to my original presentation here. Now we move on to one of the very important tools of analysis called the funds flow analysis. Funds flow analysis and cash flow analysis. These two are very powerful analysis done in the financial statement analysis. Actually, let us understand the meaning of this funds flow analysis first. in the cash flow analysis first. Then we move on to the, in simple terms, mean the working capital. Okay, cash means only cash. Funds mean the total working capital, and working capital includes the current assets and the current liabilities. Working capital is the capital which is used for the short term, which is used for the routine activities of the organization. That we mean by the working capital. And working capital includes total of current assets and total of current liabilities. Current assets include the cash balance, bank balance, sundry debtors, bills receivables, and stock of goods or inventories. Current liabilities includes sundry creditors, the bills payables, bank overdraft, and the outstanding expenses. Sometimes we also include the money market securities, short-term money market securities. So these are current assets and the current liabilities. So working capital deals with the short-term assets, that is current assets, and short-term liabilities, that is the current liabilities. So working capital andre sum total of current assets and current liabilities is called working capital. Adanna ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್. ನೆಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, NWC. ನೆಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬರೋ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೆಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್, ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಹೋಪ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಟು ಯು. Excuse me. After having understood the meaning of funds, now we need to understand there are three terminologies here in the caption on the title. If you look at funds flow analysis, we have understood what we mean by funds. Then flow andre, flow means change. Flow is increase or decrease. Change may be increase or change may be decrease. That is what we mean by flow. For example, last year our profit was 500 crores. This year our profit has increased to 550 crores. So increase in net profits by 50 crore we mean by the flow. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೋಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫ್ಲೋ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಯ್ತು. ದೆನ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್, ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್, ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ we try to see how much change has happened in the funds between two balance sheet dates. That is what we do in the funds flow analysis. Between two balance sheet dates, andre between two financial years, between 2020 and 2019, ಈ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ಗೂ ಕಳೆದ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ಗೂ ಏನು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಎರಡು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೋತೀವಿ? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ಡ್ ಟು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ದಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಫ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ between two financial years. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ any item that we include in the funds flow analysis with the help of funds flow statement ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. It is always between two financial years only. Right. So funds mean working capital, flow means change, analysis means seeing the reason, what has been the change, why there is a change. Is it a good change? Is it not a good change? That is what we mean by the analysis. Funds mean working capital, flow means the changes, analysis means how much is the change, what is the reason for the change, is it a good change or a bad change. That is what is the analysis. So funds flow analysis is the analyzing whether a particular financial variables of the company, what we call as the working capital variables of the company, whether it is good or bad ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Now, it relies on working capital rather than on the book profits. This is a very, very important and a very strong pillar of funds flow analysis that we need to understand, and we need to be convinced about the usage of the funds rather than the profits. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಇದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ It does not believe in the concept of the profits. Net profits anta ಏನು ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು we don't believe that, we don't trust on that, we don't rely on that. Rather, we believe in the funds. The reason why we don't believe, why we don't trust on the profits or the net profits or the book profits is because the third point ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, book profits include many non-core items like the depreciation or the appreciation on the fixed assets, loss on sale of shares, bonds, debentures or machines assets ಇರ್ಬೋದು, gain on sale of assets, various types of assets ಇರ್ಬೋದು. So these are called as the non-core items. So let us understand what is non-core item. Non-core items ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the items or the transactions that have evolved not from the core business activity. In the last class also, last series also, I was explaining about, somebody had asked this question also from the participants, what is the difference between an income and a gain ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಜನರೇಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಕೋರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ. ಕೋರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಗಾರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ಬೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಡಿಮೇಡ್ ಗಾರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ದ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಜನರೇಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಗಾರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. Gain andre, in addition to doing your garments business, you are also involved in so many other activities like investing in shares, investing in capital markets, investing in real estate, buying and selling of securities. So you are involved into so many other activities also. So you have purchased and sold some securities, some shares. By selling the shares, you have earned some money. So that money, that revenue you have generated by sale of shares, bonds or sale of assets is not from your core business activity of a garments business. That's why it is called a gain. Core and non-core items clear now. Non-business activity, non-core business activity. So ಈಗ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, profit and loss account will have expenses and losses on the debit side, incomes and gains on the credit side. Expenses and losses anta helidaga, so expenses are business expenses which are deemed to be part of the profit and loss account, but the concern is about the losses. ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ಲಾಸ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್. ನೀವು 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಿ. ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಸಮ್ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್ ದ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಹಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಡೌನ್, ಫಾಲನ್ ಡೌನ್. ನೌ ಯು ಸೆಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ 90 rupees. You have incurred a loss of ₹10. So that is a loss on share, loss on sale of shares. Now this is not from your core business activity, but you include this in the profit and loss account. You are compelled to include this in the P&L account. Let us come on the credit side of the profit and loss account. Now, you had some old machinery which you felt is obsoleted now. Obsoleted in the sense it has become out of date, out of technology. Technology changes happen. Now the existing machine has to be disposed of, has to be sold off. Now you sell that machine. While selling the machine, probably now the old machine has a higher value kind of, so you make some profit out of that. Now you don't call it a profit, you call it a gain. Or you sold some shares in the market, you bought the shares at 100 rupees, you sold the shares for 120 in the market, you made a gain of rupees 10 20 120. So 20 rupees gain you have made. So this 20 rupees goes on the credit side of the profit and loss account, and it is taken as a gain. It is a gain because it is not from your core business activity, it is not from your garments business revenue. So now you are taking this gain also in the same P&L account, the P&L account that you are preparing for your garments business. Rather, you are compelled to take this gain also into the same profit and loss account. These are two items. Similarly, when there is a depreciation on the fixed asset or appreciation on the fixed asset, the adjustments are done in the respective assets on the asset side of the balance sheet. Similarly, the amount of depreciation is taken on the debit side of the profit and loss account. and the expenses side of the profit and loss account. This is again is a non-core item. It's a non-cash item rather. Depreciation is a typical expense which is known as a non-cash expense. Non-cash expense ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? We charge 10,000 rupees depreciation on a machinery. 10,000 rupees of depreciation is charged on a machinery. So we take this as an expense in the profit and loss account. But to the extent of rupees 10,000, there is no cash outflow from the business. You charge the depreciation, but 10,000 rupees is not going out of your business. This is just a book entry. This is just adjusted in the books. Artificially, you're writing this as an expense in the P&L account debit side so that your notional profit comes down, so that your tax liability comes down. So legally, you are permitted to take depreciation as an allowable expense, and hence you're taking this in the profit and loss account, although there is no cash outflow for depreciation expense. So it is called a non-cash expenditure. So these are few examples. I can quote many such examples which are part of your profit and loss account. So these are the examples which are part of your P&L account, but they are not the actual reasons for the flow of funds. ನೀವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ, ಕೋರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ, ಇದು ಯಾವುದೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೋರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, profit is diluted, or the net profit shown by the P&L account is less than what it should have been. So your net profit shown by the profit and loss account is not the real profit in terms of from the core business activity. New garments business ಇಂದ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದಂತಹ net profit to ನಿಮ್ಮ profit and loss account ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, because lot of other non-core business items are included on either side of the profit and loss account. Expense ಅಲ್ಲೂ include ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, loss ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, gains ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the net profit shown by the profit and loss account is not the true profitability of your core business activity. So ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಟು ಸಿ ದಿ ಬುಕ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. Profit and loss account shows us the book profit. We are not interested in the book profit, although it is mandatory to prepare the profit and loss account like that. ICAI has made it mandatory to prepare a net profit and loss account as per the standard and include all those items in the profit and loss account. That's why I kept on saying we are compelled to take non-core business items like depreciation, appreciation, loss on shares, gain on land. All these items, although are not related to the core business activity, we are compelled to take them into the profit and loss account because that's a mandatory thing. Who makes it mandatory? The accounting standards. Who prepares the accounting standards? The ICAI. So as per the accounting standards given by, propounded by, postulated by ICAI, Institute of Cost and Accountant Works of India, we have to include these items in the P&L account. We cannot have two separate profit and loss accounts, one for the IT purpose, one to satisfy the ICAI, one to see our true performance. ಅದನ್ನ ಎರಡು ತರ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the purpose of preparing the profit and loss account in that fashion is to satisfy the external agencies like tax authorities or the ICAI. The purpose of doing a funds flow analysis is not to satisfy any outsider, but to rather to satisfy myself. I want to see my own performance. I want to see my own pure performance, not notional performance. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯೋ, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡೈಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ the net profit shown by the profit and loss account. Rather, I believe in the funds flow analysis ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, how much funds we have generated during the year and how the generated funds are being utilized by the company, adanna ನಾವು analysis ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. That will rather show us the true performance of the organization rather than simply looking at the profits which are not the real performance indicators. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ we go for this funds flow analysis. Hence funds flow approach is superior to profitability approach ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Superior in the sense of measuring the true performance of the organization ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಹಂಗಂತ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಂತ ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ರೇಷಿಯೋಸ್ ಏನ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್, ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆನ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ, ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಮೇಜರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಂಡೇಟರಿ. Although they are taken from the book profits, although they are taken from the diluted profits, they are mandatory things for us. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ we have to seek the true performance analysis through the funds flow analysis. In this direction, funds flow analysis is not a substitute for ratio analysis or preparing a P&L and balance sheet, but funds flow analysis is a complementary thing to ratio analysis and preparation of P&L and the balance sheet ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. It is an additional thing that we do. So P&L and balance sheet are prepared to satisfy ICAI, creditors, bankers, tax authorities, external parties. Funds flow analysis is prepared to see our own introspect ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮ ವಿಮರ್ಶನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರೂ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, which is not possible by preparing only profit and loss account and balance sheet. So that's about funds flow analysis and the logic behind why funds flow analysis has to be done. I hope this understanding is clear, although it is a little tricky to understand if you come from a non-commerce background. If you permit, I'll move to the further slides. If there is any basic question to understand as far as the funds flow analysis concept is there, let me answer to those questions. Then I'll move on to the further understanding of the funds flow statement. Yes, over to participants for 1 minute for asking any questions if there are any.
Guys, you can type the questions if you have any.
Why? Because the funds flow analysis is a little tricky concept. If I explain at a length, I'll be explaining so many concepts in a way, so that shouldn't be confusing to you. That's why I'm breaking the entire presentation of funds flow analysis into 2-3 parts. So I'll give a pause in between 2-3 times, giving a scope for the participants to raise any questions or the concerns, and then I'll move on to the next parts. If there are no questions, then I'll move on.
Sure, sir, you can move on.
All right. So after having understood what is this funds flow analysis, meaning of funds flow, meaning of funds flow analysis, funds means the working capital, and funds are different from the net profits or different from the net profits shown by the profit and loss account, and how funds are superior to the book profits concept, and why the purpose of doing the funds flow analysis. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. After having understood this, now we move on to funds flow statement. Funds flow analysis ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, funds flow analysis is done with the help of preparing funds flow statement. Simple as that. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Now let us understand what is this funds flow statement. Now it is a measure of total sources and uses of funds during ಅಥವಾ between 2 financial years ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Measure of total sources and uses, sources and applications of funds during ಅಥವಾ between 2 balance sheets. Let me explain this. If we take financial years as 2019 and 2020 as 2 financial years, between these 2 financial years we will look at various ways how the funds are being generated by the company. Funds generation ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ how fund has come into the business. Cash has come into the business. Cash is a narrow concept, fund is a broader concept. Fund includes cash and other current assets, that's the fund. So working capital rather. Total funds andre cash, money, working capital. So ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ 2019 ಮತ್ತೆ 2020 ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೌ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್, ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ವೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಜನರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್. ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್. By selling the goods, which is your core business activity, by selling the goods you can generate the funds. That is one source. By selling the old assets you can generate the funds, correct? By receiving dividend, by receiving interest, you can generate the funds. So let's assume you have generated 100 rupees of funds in one financial year. Between two financial years you have generated 100 rupees between two balance sheet dates through various sources. Sales in the ಒಂದು 60% ಬಂದಿದೆ, 10% dividends ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿದೆ, 10% interest ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 20% ನಿಮಗೆ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಟ್, ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್, ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ equity shares, issue of debentures ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಅಥವಾ you have raised a new loan from the bank ಇಂದ ಸಾಲ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. So through all these sources ನಿಮ್ದು 100 rupees funds you are able to generate in a year. ಇದು ಒಂದು aspect. The second important aspect of a funds flow statement is uses of funds ಅಂತ. ಇದು sources of funds ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದು. uses of funds ಅಂದ್ರೆ application of funds. ಈ 100 rupees ನಾವೇನ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಈ 100 rupees ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, how these 100 rupees of funds are being applied, used, utilized in the company, ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಹೇಗೆ ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? Normally one of the ways how we utilize the funds is we may purchase goods, we may purchase assets, there could be payment of dividend, cash dividend, or application could also be in the form of redemption of debentures, buyback of equity shares. All these are the, ನಾವು 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡುವ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಲೋನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿಯನ್ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿಯನ್ನ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ನಾವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ರೀಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಲೋನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ರಿಡಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಈ 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿಯನ್ನ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಯುಟಿಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ಎರಡನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿತೀವಿ. This in turn is going to help us understand whether the company is moving in the right direction or not in terms of the overall financial performance ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಫಂಡ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. So as of now you understand fund flow statement includes two important things, that is, one is the sources of funds, another one is the uses or utilization or application of the funds. Next, important aspects in a funds flow statement ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ funds from operations ಒಂದು important aspect ಇದೆ, increase or decrease in the working capital is another important aspect, then the sources and uses or application of the funds. Let us understand these one by one. Funds from operations, textbook ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ವೇ ಹೌ ವಿ ಜನರೇಟ್ ದ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. So what is funds from operations? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ funds from operations ಅಂದ್ರೆ as rightly given by some of the authors, it is adjusted net profit ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನು adjusted net profit ಅಂದ್ರೆ, imagine the net profit shown by one profit and loss account of a company. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡಿಪಿಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್, the net profit shown by a P&L account is a result of various items in the P&L account. Those various items include items from the core business activity and items from a non-core business activity. Depreciation is a non-cash expense. Provision is a non-cash expense. Then loss on sale of shares is a non-core expense. Loss on sale of machinery or furniture or any other asset is a non-core item. Similarly, on the income side, gain on sale of shares, gain on sale of machinery, furniture, or any other fixed asset is a non-core item. So all these are jumbled, all these are dumped into the profit and loss account, and net profit is a result of inclusion of all of these items. ಸೊ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಡೈಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೋಸಿ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ತೆಗಿತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನ. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಕೋರ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್, loss on sale of assets, loss on sale of securities, gain on sale of shares or securities, gain on sale of assets, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹಾಕೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ನಾವು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಫೈನಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜರ್ನಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್, ಅದೇ ತರ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ತರ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಯುವರ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೈಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್. ಆ ಡೈಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೆಕ್ಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 100 rupees. ಸರಿನಾ? 100 rupees ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, there are so many items. ಆ so many items ಅಲ್ಲಿ depreciation is also one of the items on the debit side of the profit and loss account. And depreciation amounts to rupees 10. 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ depreciation ಇದೆ. Net profit is 100 rupees. So this net profit of 100 rupees has come after deducting depreciation of rupees 10. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಈ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ನಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್, ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ನಾನ್ ಕೋರ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಇದು ಇರದೇ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ, ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡದೇ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಅವರ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್? ಅವರ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ 110 rupees. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಟು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡೈಲ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಂಟು ಕೋರ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಯಾವುದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ 100 rupees ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಆಡ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ rupees 10. ಅದೇ ತರ ಲಾಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಟ್, ಲಾಸ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್, ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದು ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ಐಟಮ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಾನ್ ಕೋರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಿಂದ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಯಾವ ನಾನ್ ಕೋರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಿಂದ ಐಟಮ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಐಟಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಲೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಗೇನ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 100 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೇಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. 100 rupees ಇಸ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. ಗೇನ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ 15 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇದೆ, 15 rupees. ಸೊ ಈ 15 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ 100 rupees ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ಗೇನ್ ಇರದೇ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು 85 rupees. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಗೇನ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗೇನ್ ಆನ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಷಿನರಿ ಏನಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ 15 rupees ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಲೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ rupees 100 ಲೆಸ್ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಥವಾ ನಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಅಥವಾ ದಿ ನಾನ್ ಕೋರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಡ್ the income from non-core business activity, gain on sale of shares, machinery, ಅದನ್ನ ಲೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ ಬಂದಿರೋ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ 100ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿನೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, 100ಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆನೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ರಿಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ that will be called funds from operations ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. I hope you understood the concept of funds from operations. So in the whole process of identifying the funds from operations ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ diluted net profit ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ಯೂರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Purified net profit ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? The net profit which has evolved purely from the business activities only. We have discarded, we have taken out all the non-core items which were included in the net profits in the form of P&L account. Now we have excluded them. So now it is called the adjusted net profit from the pure funds flow concept. ಅದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್, ಡೆಟರ್ಸ್, ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರಿ, ರಿಸಿವೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್, ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಪೇಬಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಪೇಬಲ್, ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಓಡಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ವೆನ್ current assets increase, there will be increase in working capital, or when current liabilities decrease, there will be increase in the working capital. Simple. Current assets increase will lead to increase in working capital, or decrease in current liability will lead to increase in working capital, and vice versa. Decrease in working capital ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಾಗ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದಾಗ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐದರ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟ್ರಿ, ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಇನ್ವೆಂಟ್ರಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟ್ರಿ ವಾಸ್ ₹10,000. this year inventory is equal to 15,000. so there is increase in inventory, stock of goods anta helthivi, increase in inventory. so increase in inventory is increase in current asset, increase in current asset is increase in working capital. sarina? so increase in working capital ee tara idre adu source agutta, application agutta? increase in working capital is an application of funds, use of funds. ಹೇಗಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ increase in working capital is the result of either increase in current asset or decrease in current liability. So let us assume, taking the same example of inventory, increase in working capital is a result of increase in current asset, and that current asset is a inventory ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಸೊ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ 10,000 ಇತ್ತು ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, ಈ ವರ್ಷ 12,000 ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. 10,000 ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 12,000 ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಂದ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಥವಾ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಟು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರಿ 10,000 ಇಂದ 12,000 ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಟು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ವೆಂಟರಿ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಗುಡ್ಸ್, ದ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಔಟ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಡ್, ದ ಮನಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಗಾನ್, ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾನ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಹೀಗೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ವಿಲ್ ಲೀಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅ ಸೋರ್ಸ್. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಗಮನದಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ aspect in the fund flow statement. Third important aspect in the fund flow statement is the sources and uses of the funds. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇಂದ ನಮಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಈಸ್ one such source. Dividend ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it will act as a source. Interest ಅನ್ನ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that will act as a source. Issue of new equity shares ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ this will be a source. Issue of debentures bonds ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it will be a source for us. If you have taken a bank loan, it will be a source for you. Similarly, uses of funds or application of funds ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ business loss incur ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it will act as an application or a use of the funds. ಅದೇ ತರಹ ನೀವು ಹೊಸ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ buying or purchase of land, building, machinery, furniture, motor vans, patent rights, goodwill. ಸೊ ಏನಾದರೂ ನೀವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ತರಹ ನೀವು ರೀಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಲೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಯೂಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ರಿಡಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ರಿಡಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರೀಪೇಮೆಂಟ್, ರಿಡಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್, ರಿಡಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ that will be taken as use or application of funds. ಅದೇ ತರಹ if the company has paid any cash dividend to the shareholders in a year, cash dividend ಏನಾದರೂ ನೀವು ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that will also come as a use or the application. So these are the three important aspects that we need to be very familiar with. Important aspects are funds from operations is nothing but a adjusted net profit. Increase or decrease in working capital. Increase in working capital is an application of funds. Decrease in working capital is use or source of a fund. Sources and uses of funds ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ there are various reasons how the funds are generated and there are various reasons how the funds are utilized by the company. So we have understood these three important aspects. Now we move on to preparation of the funds flow statement. Funds flow statement ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮುಂಚೆ ಹೇಳಿದಂಗೆ funds flow statement includes the sources of funds and the application or uses of funds. Sources may accrue from funds from operations. Funds from operations are a business revenue. The sales revenue ne net profit agi profit anna ನಾವು funds from operations ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So it is funds from operations. Issue of securities ಇಂದ ನಮಗೆ source ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Issue of securities may be in the form of issue of equity shares, issue of debentures, issue of bonds or issue of any money market instruments. ಲೋನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಮಷಿನರಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದೇ ತರಹ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಲಾಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ. ಅದೇ ನೆಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ there will be loss from business. Funds from operations, the opposite terminology is loss from business. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು loss from business ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Loss from business, net loss, net profit ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ನೆಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂತ ಏನು P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ನೆಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನು ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯೋ ಅದರ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೆಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೆಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಲಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದಂತ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ನೆಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಲಾಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ವಿ, ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ವಿ, ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ್ವಿ, that will also be called as an application. Purchase of fixed assets, land, building, machinery, redemption of debentures or bonds, payment of cash dividend by the company to the shareholders, increase in working capital is also one of the important applications anta ಮುಂಚೆನೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. So these are the various sources and application of the funds. Now let us have a look at a sample funds flow statement with an example. I think I need to share this. Let me share. Here it is. Is the fund flow statement visible to everyone? Sir,
yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, this is the sample funds flow statement. You can see the items on the there are two sides to this funds flow statement, like balance sheet. There is no asset or a liability. There is no income or expenditure here. Rather, we have the sources and the uses. Uses are also known as the application of the funds. Sources andre generated, funds generated during the year. Uses or application andre funds utilized during the year. Let's look at the sources side first. You see funds from operation is 5 lakhs, sale of fixed assets is 4 lakhs, issue of equity shares is 3. Similarly, you have sale of investments, issue of debentures, loan from State Bank of India, decrease in working capital is about 4 lakhs, and total funds generated during the year is 21 lakhs. Uses applications ಬರೋದಾದ್ರೆ loss from business nil ಇದೆ because funds from operations ಇದ್ರೆ loss ಇರಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Either you have a profit or a loss, either you have funds from operation or loss from business. They are contradicting. Purchase of fixed assets 6 lakhs, purchase of investment 5 lakhs, redemption of bonds 4 lakhs, repayment of a bank loan is 3 lakhs, payment of cash dividend to the equity shareholders is 2 lakhs, and increase in working capital is 1 lakh. Again, sorry, both decrease in working capital and increase in working capital at a time chance illa. Just to make the participant understand, I have put both of them, but apologies, both of them will not be there in the fund flow statement at the same point of time. All right, now at any given point of time, the sources in the funds flow statement will be exactly equal to the uses or the application. Like your balance sheet tallies at all times, your fund flow statement will also tally all the times by default. The tally ಆದರೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ you need to look at how the funds have been generated, the manner in which the funds are generated. 21 lakhs ಅಥವಾ 20 lakhs ಅಂತ ರೌಂಡ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, about 25% of the funds are generated from the core business activity. That is 5 lakhs are funds from operations. Funds from operations are the core business activity. Now garments business anta ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ, core business activity ಇಂದ we are able to generate 25% of the funds in the last financial year. Remaining 75% of the funds are generated from non-core business activity. Look at that. Of which about 20% come from sale of fixed assets, and 2.5 lakhs, that's roughly about 10%, 10 to 12.5% comes from the sale of investments. Issue of equity shares is 3 lakhs, issue of debentures is 1.5 lakhs, loan from SBI is 1 lakh. So all put together, issue of equity shares 3, debentures 1.5, 4.5, loan from SBI 1 lakh, so 5.5 lakhs is again 25%. 25% of the funds during the year are generated by raising the additional capital. Additional capital is raised in the form of equity shares, debt capital, and loan. Equity shares, debentures, and loan. Loan and debentures are debt. Debt is about 2.5 lakhs, equity is about 3 lakhs. Roughly 60-40 ratio nalli ನಾವು additional capital ಅನ್ನ raise ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. The additional capital is in the tune of about 25% of the funds raised during the year, which means to say 25% funds are generated from the core business activity, that is the sales in the. Another 25% of the funds are raised raised by the issue of additional capital. That is an indication of the business is getting expanded. Business is getting expanded. Another 20-25% is by the sale of the fixed assets. Sale of the fixed assets is 4 lakhs. Look at the right hand side, purchase of the fixed asset is 6 lakhs. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, the existing assets are obsoleted, the existing assets are outdated. We have disposed of, we have discarded the old existing assets, and we have purchased the new assets, new fixed assets. And through the sale of fixed assets, we have generated close to 20-25% of the funds. Another 4 lakh rupees has come through the decrease in the working capital. That is again close to 20 to 25%. 20% ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು ಕೂಡ 20% of the funds are generated through the decrease in the working capital. Decrease in the working capital leads for decrease in the current assets or increase in the current liabilities, which means you have gone for a short-term borrowing, increase in the current liability. This is how the funds generation is 25% from the core business activity, 25% from the increase in the additional capital, 20% is from the disposing of the existing old assets, another 20% is from raising the capital through the short-term loan, short-term obligations in the form of current liability. This is how total fundraising is being done during the year. Looking at the right hand side, the uses or the application side nodidre 6 lakh we've already seen, that's about 30%, 20 lakhs total anta nanu rough ಆಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ around 30% of the funds are utilized for purchase of the new assets. That's an indication that you are into the renovation, you are into the reconstruction, you are into the expansion. Purchase of the investments is rupees 5 lakhs, you are doing well. That's an indication because you are investing into the securities andre it's a good sign. Redemption of bonds is for redemption andre repayment. Bonds is about 20%, is an indication that you are repaying your existing liability. That shows you have a sound financial year for the present situation. Repayment of bank loan is 3 lakhs. 5 lakhs, redemption of bond is 4 lakhs, repayment of bank loan is 3 lakhs. Together it is 7 lakhs. 7 lakh is about 35% of the total funds used. 35% of the funds generated are utilized for the repayment of the obligations, long-term liability, which shows that you are expanding at one hand, you're expanding your business, you're selling out the old assets, you're buying the new assets, you're investing the money, you're raising new capital, and you are repaying the old loan, old bank loan, old bonds because you want to raise a new capital. This is an indication that you are expanding the business, you are making new investment into the assets, you are purchasing the new fixed assets. So this shows the entire activity of the business. You also paid payment of cash dividend is to the tune of rupees 2 lakhs. That is an indication that you have kept your shareholders happy by paying them dividend, that is to the tune of about another 10%. 10% of the total funds used, 10% of the total funds utilized, generated are utilized for payment of the cash dividend. You can pay the cash dividend only when you have the profits. You can pay the cash dividend only when your financial position is good, your profitability is good. So by this you convey a lot of message. The message is the company is doing well, company is disposing of the old assets, company is replacing with the new assets, company is making new investments, company is paying off the old obligations, and company is issuing the new capital, company has paid the cash dividend, which is an indication of the good financial performance. So all these inferences can be drawn by preparing the funds flow statement, which may not be possible by only looking at the P&L account or the balance sheet per se. That's how we look at the funds flow statement. That's how the funds flow statement helps us understand, analyze, or interpret the financial performance from a broader perspective, not just looking at the profits or the net profits. We go way ahead, way beyond, way long of the profits concept. Profit is a very narrow concept. We're not just looking at the profit, we are looking from a much broader perspectives in terms of paying off the long-term liabilities, raising the capital, expansion of the business. This talks of the funds flow statement will tell you a bigger story, bigger picture in terms of where the company wants to move ahead. What are the new directions? What are the projections of the company? What you can anticipate from the company's activities? All these can be interpreted, inferred from the funds flow statement. So fund flow statement silently gives a message. That's why we always say the action speaks louder than words ಅಂತ ಏನು ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ sends a very strong message through this kind of a funds flow statement with a lot of messages. You don't have to spell out them. The simple preparation of fund flow statement will give you a lot of message like this, like you're expanding, you're prospering, you're repaying the loan, you're expanding your business, kind of a thing, you're prospering, you're paying the cash dividend. A lot of such messages are conveyed. So that's what we mean by financial signaling. Any questions from the participants on funds flow statement?
Sir, I have a question, but little out of context.
Please.
So these fund flow statements will be prepared by the business entities only, or NGOs can prepare these, or whether there is a possibility of preparing, so that we can see. One is like, if at all we want to give it to our stakeholders, saying that, like, see, say maybe for our volunteers or for our donors purpose, will it be any helpful, or your thoughts on that?
Definitely it is going to be very helpful. Like this is a hypothetical funds flow statement I have prepared by taking some hypothetical figures. Actually, when I give an assignment for my own MBA students, say there are 46 students in a class of accounts, and I ask them to take 46 different companies listed on BSE or NSE, and based on two balance sheets, say for 2020 and 2019, they prepare a funds flow statement. Like I explained, the various intricacies of funds flow statement that I have prepared, I have explained just now. Similarly, I ask my students to explain the funds flow statements and the way the funds are generated and the way the funds are utilized, and thereby they can get a lot of messages which will be helpful for various stakeholders, like you said rightly, for the investors, like the donors, kind of a thing. So fund flow statement, though it is not compulsory as such, it is very much desirable for all sorts of business organizations. It is in addition to preparation of the final accounts like P&L and balance sheet, it will give some additional informations. Something that is good has to be embraced. So funds flow analysis, fund flow statement is definitely going to tell us how we have performed from different perspectives, and it also tells me in what direction the business is moving around. So this
Correct.
is definitely of a greater importance. It can be applied to NGOs and non-profit making business, non-profit making organizations also.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the.
Yeah, I think I am left with only one more slide.
Okay,
Uh,
sir. You can
yeah,
complete that.
yeah, I'll complete that, and probably after that we can go for the question answers. 2 3 more slides, in fact. I'll shorten it down. Yeah, so I'm into the last slide actually. Let me share this first. Cash flow analysis, little deviation from the funds flow analysis. Cash, as it is rightly written at bullet point number 1, cash is equal to cash only anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Funds include the total working capital. Cash includes only cash, which means to say it has the working capital minus other current assets. ಇಲ್ಲಿ cash ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು cash flow analysis ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. The analysis of flow on the cash basis, not on the total working capital of the funds basis. Funds flow is on a working capital basis, while the cash flow is on a cash basis. It helps how the flow of cash behave between two balance sheet dates ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. A small deviation from the funds flow analysis, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು cash flow statement ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು how the funds have moved, behaved or changed over a period of 2 years ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. Here we don't look at the total working capital change, rather we look at only how the cash has changed over a period of time ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. Rest all is the same as we do in the funds flow analysis. Here in the cash flow analysis also a small deviation here. So today we have discussed on various other tools of analyzing the financial performance of a business, like ratio analysis in the last series ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. Today we started with trend analysis, interfirm analysis, then we move to industry analysis, common size statement analysis, horizontal analysis, funds flow analysis, and cash flow analysis. And we have understood various intricacies of funds flow and cash flow analysis, and how funds flow analysis is going to help any business organization to analyze its financial performance between two balance sheets. ಮತ್ತೆ direction of the business ಕೂಡ ಇದರಿಂದ ನಾವು anticipate ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. I am sure these concepts are clear to you. At the same time, I am little what do you say, little apprehensive for those students who come from a non-commerce background, because it's in a short span of time making all these concepts understand is a little difficult. So I have done my sincere effort in making these concepts clear. I am done with my presentation now. If there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take those questions online or offline later the presentation also. Over to the participants.
Sir, as you said, this will take some time for
Yes.
kind of understanding and then reflect upon. Basically, what you have said would make sense for like for commerce students, even though they have gone through it. This will be like on a given them a different dimension,
True.
and yeah, so definitely when they reflect upon what you have done over these last 5 sessions, definitely there will be questions, I'm sure. So I would request people who are watching here are also, like, there are quite a bunch of them watching in the YouTube, so they can send the questions anytime. I can collate the questions and send it to sir, and we can get the
Sure.
answers. If any questions right now here, you can raise your hands or type the questions. Otherwise, we will break and then we will meet tomorrow evening 4 p.m. Same time.
Yeah. So this is going to be end of the financial performance analysis as such, and tomorrow we will be discussing on some basic aspects of capital markets, introduction to financial markets, various types of securities that are dealt, how the shares are issued, traded, the basic understanding of the stock exchange, BSE and NSE, functioning of BSE and NSEs, little understanding of stock indices like Sensex, Nifty, the movement in the Sensex and Nifty, and we'll also understand few latest developments that have happened in the Indian economy as such. So that's going to be the mat for discussion tomorrow. So this is the end of series on financial performance analysis. My word of suggestion to the student participants from the non-commerce backgrounds to uh, read some basic books on financial accounting and management accounting, and then come back to these presentations and understand the intricacies of all of these. Those student participants who come from the commerce background, my suggestion would be to take a step further from this. Now, you might be quite comfortable with understanding of the concepts of all these discussions. Now, what you can do is you take one real example of some company listed on BSE or NSE. Now, financial statements are public documents. You can download them from the website and then try doing all these types of analysis for those companies. Then you will understand them in a better way. And as sir also said, I have shared my WhatsApp number and the email ID in the previous presentation, or through Venki sir also, you can reach to me for any possible questions or the queries on any of or all of these presentations. Yeah. Thank you
Yes.
very much for being part of this
Thank you, sir.
webinar
Sir,
series.
tomorrow also, would you be quickly briefing about some of the finance-related interview questions?
Yeah, that will also be covered. Few questions definitely. As a
Okay.
sample, probably I can share a document that I have created based on my experience. I have listed down certain questions based on my experience,
Okay.
not
So,
referring to Google or Wikipedia kind of a thing. Based on purely my experience, I have developed some document that I can share with you that can be circulated among the participants. But as a discussion, I'll definitely take up some questions,
okay.
probable questions in the interview, and how to answer to those questions,
Yes, sir.
especially
So,
pertaining to the accounts and finance questions.
sure, sir. If you can share those documents, then I will share it with the group, like our
Sure,
potential
sure.
participants. Then
Yes, sir.
tomorrow, whichever question they feel like they need some
Clarifications.
clarifications, they can only ask those questions instead of like you going ahead with all the questions. So only those questions which needs clarification they can ask.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes,
I'll do that, sir.
sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So thank
Thanks
you,
for
sir.
your
It's my
time.
pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
So we
sir,
will
and thank you all the participants. See you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Bye bye.
bye, bye, everyone.